This guy moaned at least this loud. Oh! Hush.
Hey guys, it is Tristan with Nerdouts Newsstand, and the other day we talked about an issue that had kind of came up with J. Scott Campbell. Now, basically, if you don't remember, there was a fixer by the name of Non-Binary Fins, and they took to one of J. Scott Campbell's older Mary Jane covers, redid it, did it how they liked it, and it actually wasn't bad, their fixing of it. They did a decent job, but of course, it's J. Scott Campbell. He's a mega superstar in the artist world, right? And he kind of went through and really sarcastically, and quite, I guess the best word would be like starky, went through and fixed the fix, right? And it was funny. We laughed about it. We laughed about how basically the whole fix was giving women more meat on their bones and not liking the busts and hips and booty, all of that fun stuff, right? So what happened since then? Quite a bit, unfortunately so. The other day, J. Scott Campbell posted something because, of course he did. I'm assuming he got some calls of people or some, oh my God, warnings. These are terrible people. He posted a couple videos. They were just people talking about the situation, just talking about art fixers, why it's rude. I know one was Dan Pham. I watched her video and she's awesome. I love her. Another one was that Star Wars girl. I think he also did Shoe on Head. There was a few of them. And I thought, every single one of those words was a really good video. I love how they each had their own perspective. Dan Pham as an artist, or that Star Wars girl kind of mapped it out and did it herself. Every single one brought something to the table. So he simply put it on his Twitter, his social media, right? Well, the people, or the rather Twitterati, I guess you could call them, did not like them and started warning them, saying, oh, these are alt-right, bigot, grifter, words that have no meaning anymore. Okay, so we're caught up to that. The other day, he put out another statement, or the first statement. And it was basically the statement that you hear quite often, right? I am against bigotry. I am against racism. I am against anything that is LGBTQ, anything that is anti-trans. I am against any sort of hate speech. Yes, I think any normal, sane person is. But then he adds in there, I have no affiliation with Comicsgate. I am not alt-right. I am not anti-women. I do not endorse any fringe groups that push hate. And that started another bucket of shit in the stirring group. And it's unfortunate because what it seemed, I don't think the statement was really bad. I don't. And I kind of want to give my perspective on it from somebody that used to deal with Comicsgate and as a woman who likes looking at pretty women. It's that simple. Most people are attracted to beauty. So the statement is pretty much what you see from most of these people. And I get it. He put it out there to protect himself. He put it out there to protect his brand. And honestly, they do stuff like that on Twitter all the time to look a little better. Well, it did upset a few people. Basically saying, just because we like attractive women does not make us anti-women. Just because we are in Comicsgate does not make us hateful. And I'll stop right there, full stop. I have nothing to do with Comicsgate anymore, and I will never. Do I think they are a hate group? No. That's fucking ridiculous. A hate group is ISIS. A hate group is Al-Qaeda. If you're calling Comicsgate a hate group, you're calling basically anything a hate group. Now, on the other side of the coin, do I think there are hateful people within it? Absolutely. Absolutely there are mean people in there. But guess what? Like we said when we talked about the Snyder cultist, There are hateful people in every group. Doesn't matter, but you cannot judge the mass by the few fringe. And you kind of have to judge people individually. And I think I've said that sentence on this channel 1,000 times. But it is nice to see, and we're going to take a look at a new tweet. The second little statement from J. Scott Campbell talking about, he's going to do that too. And I think it's nice to have him. I've never actually seen anybody come back and kind of backpedal and say, you know what? I'm going to judge them individually. I don't know these people, so I can't say they're hateful. Never seen anyone do that. I have a lot of respect for that. But then again, on the other side, when judging people individually, you have to be fair, and you can't, judge by a random joke like we've seen done so many times before. Just recently with a Call of Duty player got canceled by Zombie Unicorn for simply saying some remarks about her looks. Okay. All right. I know it's not that simple, but I'm just saying it's ridiculous. You got to be careful where that line is. So we're going to take a look at this. And I think it's really cool that he actually did this, because judging somebody based on their even political affiliation, which is done so often nowadays, shouldn't be. You should be able to have a conversation, and it's hard. I get it. When somebody disagrees with you, you want them to understand your perspective so bad, but you got to realize at some point, we all are living in our own different realities set up by the way we live. So if you are a, crazy libtard SJW, just for example, throwing that out there, something I don't like, using the word, but I'm talking craziest of the crazy. Your world, you honestly think that America's racist. You honestly think in your heart of heart that Comicsgate is a hate group. That's your reality. Unfortunately, it's not the reality of the world, but that is what you think. And I don't have the right to change your mind. I can tell you my perspective, but I don't have the right to force my views upon you. So yes, you may be living in a crazy reality, but because you believe it, I'm going to respect that, and I'm going to respect your ability to talk about it also. So he says, I've taken the time to hear out several individuals who felt I painted them in a poor light. I made my statement about the divisive and heated rhetoric hidden within my messages. I went through, I'm assuming in the last one, he did say he was policing the comments. You shouldn't have to do that. A comment is not something you can control, J. Scott Campbell. Honestly, you cannot control what is said. So a comment does not need to be policed. You don't need to take away, comments that are maybe diametrically opposed to what you believe. It doesn't need to be done. It's a waste of time. And honestly, you're not going to be able to keep up on it with the platform that you have. Some clarification I feel is important. What I was stating earlier is that I am not comfortable being implicated or included into any group. Totally agree. Any group without my consent, regardless of the group. The reason I specifically referred to this group, Comicsgate, is because it was the only specific group that kept coming up by name. Now, see, here's the thing I have with Comicsgate. It initially did start as a fan movement for when there was a lot of really weird race swapping, really bad identity politics forced into books. And not just politics, I'm talking identity politics, because I don't mind a certain amount of nuanced politics in my books. I think most people that read comic books realize how much politics there is in it. But it was Marvel, all new, all different. Every single person is really, it is changed. It was Babs, Bad Girl. This is more recently becoming basically a member of Antifa. It was a lot of heavy-handed far left politics instead of a nuanced approach. And that's where people had the issue. So it started off as that fan movement. Eventually it basically, I mean, I don't even know the way to describe it right now. A network of small indie creators, a bunch of people obsessed with raising hell, a bunch of people that are together, they're fans, they're friends, but they're usually not fans of the comic book industry. I would say more of their own little mini teeny tiny industry that they created. I like I said, I don't think they're a hate group. Do I think some of them are hateful? Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Some of them are terribly mean to me when I did nothing wrong. And I'm not playing victim. I literally did nothing wrong. I just said it's okay to criticize people over their writing, but do it in a constructive way. And holy hell, I'm a bad person. But a hate group is mean. A hate group is literally killing people. You get my point here, all right? Honestly, from what I've heard, okay, so he goes on about Gamergate, and I wasn't around for Gamergate. I don't know much about it. I've talked about it on some small basis, but and I can't even give a good opinion on that, except for, oh my God, it's Gamergate. Everything gets blamed on Gamergate. And some individuals who were making hateful and bigoted attacks were doing so in the name of CG. Yep, some people in groups will give the majority of the group a bad name. Now, you know what? I'm going to skip that next sentence. It's important to also state I encountered some very toxic and hateful things being said from the other side as well. Those are the people that are more likely to, what's it called? When you like concern troll. Hey, J. Scott Campbell, I saw that you had a comment from this person. They're a known bigot. I know you probably don't know, but I just wanted to warn you, don't associate with that person. Yeah, don't tell me what to do. Again, judge as individuals. And hence my earlier comments about feeling more pushed to the middle of these two extreme viewpoints about art. And I agree. I think there is usually when you have two extremes, if you have two extremes when it comes to even Comicsgate or, anti-Comicsgate or whatever they would call themselves, the truth usually lies somewhere in the middle. I stand by what I said. I don't tolerate any sort of hate speech, bigotry, racism, woman hate, and I will push back on any association or individuals who act that way. However, if individuals of the Comicsgate community adamantly insist that that's not what they stand for, and I think that's great. People should stand up for what they think they believe in. And who are we to really say what they believe in? We're not. That's up to them to decide. And if you're telling me, I'm going to take you at your point, I'm going to believe you because I have no reason not to initially. Now, if you lie to me on multiple occasions, then yeah, then I'm going to start, worrying about it. But no, there's no reason to not believe that person. They insist they are not a hive mind, and they put it, which probably is why their messaging is very confusing to someone in my position. I think every group, and this is probably not smart to say, but I think every group gets hive-minded at one point. So I don't necessarily think that's true to a point. A lot of the same talking points are reiterated over and over again, no matter what group you're in, because people believe usually the same amount of things. So yes, maybe they are not a hive mind, but by saying they're not a hive mind to the cultural norm right now, but when put together, groups usually, go towards the same points, or they wouldn't be groups. They'd be arguing over it, right? So several have interacted with me very respectfully, and we openly engage about our mutual concern about art, censorship, and that's awesome. That is what needs to happen. This is oddly enough, a huge win for that group, right? And they talks about being or more openly and more thoughtfully without it devolving into tribalism and absolutes. Yeah, okay. Sure, guys, sure. So to these folks, I apologize. This is where I want to get into. I apologize for whatever grief or embarrassment I may have caused. He just apologized to people that the industry is supposed to hate. He just apologized to a group, maybe he doesn't know a bunch about, and maybe he's going to get to know, and then he can, decide then. But the fact is, J. Scott Campbell apologized. That's pretty fucking cool. Like, a lot of people think, apologies are weak. And actually, it's the exact opposite. When you're unable to apologize, when you're unable to admit when you're wrong, I personally view it as more of an ego thing and more as an issue of you can't be wrong, right? So an apology to me is a really good sign of character and strength, and I think it's awesome he did. He said, it's not a good feeling being accused of statements and actions you haven't committed and that are in your heart. I can certainly attest to that. Everyone can at one point or another, right? So I'm sure I'll be vilified on some or both sides of this debate. That's sad. And I feel bad for him because he really is in a position where he's, stuck between a rock and a hard space. He cannot get the answers right because some people on the Comicsgate side are going to simply be like, oh no, it's not good enough. Yeah, that happens a lot. And then some on the other side will be like, how dare he associate with those? They're literally Hitler. You just can't win. You can't win. So what do you do from this point on? Honestly, I would say stop. Stop. Don't say anymore. Leave it where it's at. You honestly did bigger and better than what most have done. And you're doing good. So leave it be. Anyways, let me know, of course, what you guys think about this. Hopefully this is the last installation of the art fixing drama. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
もしもし